Hello, is okay if I record this so I can take accurate notes? Only our team will see it.
Yes, that's fine.
We are building Midas, a tool that helps retail investors combine financial news, online discussion, sentiment, and historical price data to understand what drives a stock. Uh, how would you describe your role right now as you a student working in any industry?
I'm currently working.
What's your age range? Uh, for example, 18 to 25, 25 to 34, 35 to 44.
My age range is 25 to 34.
How long have you been investing?
I have been investing for about 2 years.
How often do you make investing decision? For example, daily, a few times a week, weekly, monthly.
Let me see. I think I make investing decision weekly or monthly.
What kinds of products do you invest in?
I invest in stock and ETF and sometimes a small amount of crypto.
How would you describe your risk tolerance? Very cautious, somewhat cautious, balanced, or aggressive.
In my opinion, my restaurant is balanced. However, sometimes it can be a little slightly aggressive.
What's your typical holding style? Digest, swing, long term.
Mm, My typical holding style is swing from days to week and also long terms, months to year.
Uh, think about your last stock you research or traded. What was it?
The last stock that I traded, it was Nvidia.
Can you walk me through your process step by step from first interest to decision?
Mm, Let me think. First, I notice price move. Then I will check and key levels. I read Reddit news. I also reviews earnings. After that, I check sentiment on Reddit or S. Finally, I plan entry, size, stop loss, and target. I also set alerts and monitor. I think that's all.
Uh, what did you check first and second?
Mm, First, I check on the checks and level, and second, I think I check on the news.
Where do you usually do this research? At home, commute, workplace, or late night?
I mostly do the research at home and often late night.
What tools or sources do you use most?
Mm, I I use Yahoo Finance, Trading Views, Reddit, or as for sentiment.
How many minutes do you spend researching before buying or selling?
Usually, I spend around 60 minutes for swing trades, and I spend also about 1 to 3 hours for long-term buys.
On a scale of 1 to 5. How much do you check info from news, Reddit, X, YouTube, Threads, and why?
Can you repeat again?
On a scale from 1 to 5, how much do you check info from news, Reddit, X, YouTube, Friends, and why?
Well, for the news, I just it on a scale of 4 to 5 because the info there can be verifiable. On Reddit or S is around 2 over 5 because it is really noisy and some information cannot really be trusted. And for friends, about 3 over 5 because I still must verify the information from them. That's everything I, I got.
Do you use watch list, alerts, or screeners?
Yes, I use wireless and price alert.
Do you compare multiple sources or stick to one main source?
Of course, I think I need to use multiple sources. I think I use at least 2 to 3 sources.
Why you use those tools? What do they do well for you?
Uh, I use those tools because I can access the information quickly and they have different type of checks so that I can compare and check for the different information there.
Do you discuss your trading with your friends, family, colleagues?
I sometimes discuss my trading with my friends and families, but most of the times I just do it on my own.
Do you get any information about investment? Recommendation is rare from others.
Sometimes I get some great information about investment from other people. However, I still verify before I try to act.
When market are moving fast, what changes about your process?
When markets are moving too fast, I try to reduce the position size.
What are you trying to achieve with investing right now?
Uh, I try to improve the growth and long-term wealth while improving my skills.
What does a good decision feel like to you?
Uh, in my opinion, good decisions is like something that follow my plan.
What does success look like in 6 months or in 1 year?
From my perspective, in 6 months, success could be like to stay disciplined and do not fear of missing out. Uh, in 1 year, uh, if I can achieve reasonable returns like from 8 to 15%, and and I can understand better how to read earnings. There is success. How success look to me in 1 year.
What must you set to invest? What keeps you coming back?
So learnings about trading stock make me excited to invest and finding good setup and long-term upsides keep me coming back.
And what's the hardest part of researching a stock?
In my opinion, the hardest part of researching a stock is to decide what information actually matters.
What is most frustrating about your current tool's success?
Mm, I think the most frustrating about my current tools are is because of the information is scattered, news in one place and online discussion sentiments in another, and also check in another. So different informations can be difficult to verify.
Tell me about a time you feel overwhelmed or uncertain. What caused it?
Uh, there's a few times that I felt overwhelmed and or uncertain, and most of them was of breaking news or earnings.
Have you ever made a decision you regretted because our views are so high?
Uh, yes, I have made a few decisions and that make me regret it because I try to chase a spike once and it reverses quickly.
Wow. What happened? What would have helped?
Mm, I think in the future, if I use a clearer catalyst quality check and do more historical example with better noise filtering, it will be help more.
And how much time do you want to spend? Would actually spend?
Can you repeat the question again?
How much time do you want to spend compared with actually spend time?
Uh, I plan to spend about 15 to 30 minutes, but actually it's often is like 45 to 90 minutes when it's noisy.
Which success do you choose list and why?
So suppose at the source that I just list because I I don't know them and it just there are just many information on there. Yeah, sometimes they are just not really accurate.
How do you usually find important news about a stock?
I usually find important news about a stock on apps like Robinhood and Yahoo Finance.
Do you pay attention to online discussion? For example, Reddit, X, Discord, YouTube comments?
Yes, I usually pay attention to online discussions because sometimes I feel like the information they are really beneficial to me. However, I check the source of them carefully before I make a decision.
What do you look for? For example, volume, keywords, tones, influencers.
I usually look for columns and keywords.
How do you decide whether online sentiment is a signal or a noise?
Mm, in my opinion, signal has evidence and consistency, and on the other hand, noise with no proof.
When news and sentiment conflict, what do you do?
I verify the news and then have a price action.
Do you ever try to connect news sentiment to price movement? If yes, how? If no, what stop you?
Can you repeat the question again?
Do you ever try to connect between news sentiment to price movement? If yes, how? And if no, what stopped you?
Sometimes, but it is hard and it takes a lot of time. I look at timestamp versus price move. What stopped me is scattered infos and unclear causality.
When you see a big price move, what question do you immediately have?
Uh, can you repeat again?
When you see a big price move, and what question do you have immediately?
So when I see a big price move, I usually have the questions like what happened, is it temporary, and what are key levels for support and resistance?
Do you look at historical pattern, for example, best earning, best headlines, previous spikes?
Yes, I do look at historical patterns, especially past earnings reaction.
What tools help with that?
Those tools can be those tools are like trading view chart, earning history, and news timelines.
What kinds of visual help you understand what's happening?
Price check, quick summaries, news, and some visual that can help me understand what's happening.
Uh, if an app show you, for example, for a single stock, key news summary, what people are saying online, historical price reactions in similar situation, how useful would that be for you and why?
It would be extremely useful for me. It would save time and reduce noise by connecting catalysts, sentiments, and context. I think so.
What would you want to see first when you open a stock page?
When I open a stock page, uh, I went to see why it moved today, the top verified headlines, and the key levels on the chart.
What feature would be must have?
I think key levels, alerts, source link, event timeline, and clear sentiment summaries with evidence as some features that must that is a must have.
And what features would be nice to have?
Similar past event comparisons and topic-based sentiments analysis.
What would make you not shut an app?
Mm, I would not just an app with no source and obvious bias or frequent error.
Uh, if my desk could do one thing instantly to help you decide faster, what should it be?
Can you repeat again about your software?
If my desk could do one thing instantly to help you decide faster, what should it be?
I think it should be about why it moved, explanation with the main reason, the level of impact, and also the history of similar past cases.
What advice would you give us to make it useful?
So I think I have one or two advice. So you can try to keep it simple and separate facts from opinions. It will make this genuinely useful.
Can we use a short anonymous quote from you in our report?
Yes, of course.
Anything I didn't ask that you think matters?
No, I don't think.
Um, what do you rely the most at the eye news catalyst order flow sentiment?
I rely most on news catalysts and technical levels sentiments as a secondary check.
How fast do you need info to update with your phone?
Well, so for breaking news, so immediately news real times and for sentiment, every 15 to 30 minutes is enough.
What is your workflow during major news? For example, earnings, uh, fast breaking headlines.
Mm, my workflow is usually to read the headline, verify source, check price level, status, and set stop and alert.
What is the biggest problem with current sentiment tools?
I think the biggest problems with current sentiment stories about spam and hype with no evidence. It is difficult to tell credibility,
And how do you filter noise in the fast market?
so I look for source adjust and also require price confirmation.
That's all the question I want to ask. Thank you for your time.
Uh,